Many conversations are going back and forth with everybody, including private messages in our Facebook group, the Ultra Advanced eBay Guy on Facebook. Feel free to join. There's a lot of activity, free of charge. You can get a lot of questions answered there, or ask anything here. Ask on any video, any question at any time. I respond to everything. But the conversation I had with this lady, I'll just call Patty, came about because I mentioned in one of the videos, I think last week, that you need to dominate eBay. I said dominate eBay. Now, I talk a lot about dominating eBay, so if you don't like that phrase, you may not like this channel. I'm going to keep telling you that you need to dominate eBay, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can. eBay was the first reselling platform, basically, on the computer, on the internet, and it's basically still the only one that you can dominate. Amazon, too many sellers selling against you. You're competing against Amazon itself on so many items. There's so many reasons why you can't dominate on Amazon. You can come up with a new product and start selling it, and you'll be dominating for a very short time, and then your price will start tanking as others do the same thing, or they come up with the same bundle, or whatever. eBay, you literally can still dominate the items that you're selling against anyone trying to sell against you. You can still do so. That's because most sellers don't have any idea what they're doing. I'm going to show you how you can know what you're doing. I'm going to show you how you can be better than 95% of all sellers on eBay. And I want you to actually get up to about 98, 99, and approach 100%. I want you to be better. I want you to every single day get better and better, eke out a little bit better, 0.001%, to get closer and closer to the number one seller on eBay. What does that really mean? It only means being top in the search engine across the board. The higher you are in eBay's search engine, all things being equal, generally that means the better sales you will get. Now, maybe you want to be a part-time seller. That's fine. But I keep knocking over this. You'd think I would move it after a while. If you just want to be a part-time seller, that's fine. But don't you want your items to sell fast and for the prices that you're looking for, even if you're a part-time seller? Yeah, it's really not a hobby for anybody. Otherwise, why would you mess with it? Go do clay sculpture or something if you want a good hobby or a hobby. But selling on eBay is a business, even if it's a part-time business. If you don't believe me, try not recording some of your sales and letting the infernal revenue know about it someday as their reporting requirements get stricter and stricter, and you just won't report your income, and just see how long the IRS says, oh, it's fine, we know, it's just a hobby, it's not a business. I don't care if you sell one item a year, you need to report your income. It's pretty serious to the Internal Revenue Service. It ought to be serious to us. But I want you to dominate, even if you're a part-time seller. I want you to dominate, and you still can. You still can have full control, basically most control over how high you rank in eBay's search engine in general. Over time, you actually do control how high you can rank by just doing the right things. And the right things, I'm showing you how to do it, and I will continue to do so. I want you to dominate every competitor selling against you. And last week I said something maybe in the group, and I said my plan A is to dominate eBay, and my plan B is to fulfill plan A. And that's still the plan, by the way. Those two, plan A and plan B, carry on, move forward. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm teaching you how to do. eBay is a platform that, even though it's in its 25th year, on eBay, you can own the buy box. Now, those of you who have tried selling on Amazon in the past, you know what I'm talking about. You know what that means. Here's the problem. The problem is, well, I think this is part of Patty's reaction, and it's totally understandable. Some of you won't like what I'm about to say. I don't know what to tell you. You need to get over it. I can't just be worried about your sensitivities as long as I'm being honest, fair, and accurate. The problem is men are task-oriented. In general, we are task-oriented. We're more task-focused than emotion-focused. And ladies, you're more emotionally focused than task-focused. There are lots of exceptions, but overall, it's important to know the general concepts to know how to approach people. Anytime somebody asks me, what are you thinking? And it's always a lady, almost always my wife, but it's always some lady in my life who's asked me that. What are you thinking? And I mean, I often have no idea what I'm thinking. Sometimes I'm thinking of 6 things, and they're the next 6 things I've got to do next. That's very common. What have I got to do next? Well, actually, more like 1 or 2 things. Kind of hard for men to juggle 6 things at once in our minds. We just don't do that. We juggle 1 or 2 things very well. You ladies juggled. You have like 50 open windows at all time, and you know what's going on in all of them. We'll never understand that, but you'll never understand the way we're thinking, really, and that's great. So usually what I'm thinking is, what do I have to do next? It's almost always what I'm thinking about. Sometimes I'm not thinking about anything. This is true of all men. Sometimes we just aren't thinking about anything. I don't know what our face does to trigger that question, but we're not thinking about anything. Anyway, you just have to believe me. I mean, we're not. So, ladies, given that you're primarily, as a lady, you ladies are primarily emotionally driven, primarily over task driven, saying that you're going to dominate something doesn't always flow smoothly for you or for your when you hear that. I understand. It does for some, it doesn't for all. My guess would be that's not something that the majority of you think about. How do I dominate something? Pardon my French, vive la différence, right? It's great to have differences. That's what makes life so rewarding. So I want to bring this home, though, whenever we're learning about eBay on this channel, and this is a good time for a video like this, right? We've had kind of a start, 20, 30 videos to begin with, all how-tos. This is kind of a why, and it's a pretty critical why. I'm not really big into motivational videos or anything like that. I just want to get the job done. I just want you to get the job done. But you need to get the job. One of your jobs is to dominate on eBay. I'm going to prove that to you here, whether you're a lady or a man. This is not a flippant approach that I'm taking whenever I say that if you don't want to dominate on eBay, that's fine. Maybe this is a little bit flippant. Maybe it's a little bit sarcastic. Just don't do promoted listings. If you don't want to dominate on eBay, have your account, put up your items, don't do any promoted listings, don't price anything competitively, price everything way too high way too high so you don't sell things before your competitors. If you don't take good pictures, because if you don't want to dominate, if you don't want to take food out of your competitor's mouth, then out of his or her family's mouths, then don't take good pictures. Take just one lousy photograph. You won't dominate anybody that way. Don't waste your time. The bottom line is, if your goal is not to dominate the competitor selling against you, you need to understand it is their goal to dominate you on the things that you sell against them. It is your competitor. Everyone who sells anything that you're selling, it's their goal to get that sell and not you. They want to dominate you, and that's literally what it means. They're dominating you. They want that sell before you do. They will do everything in their limited power because they don't know the things you're learning here. Most sellers don't. You're going to learn how to dominate them. That is, you're going to put up a KitchenAid mixer, and it's going to sell before someone else trying to sell the very same mixer. You just dominated that person. Let them have the next sell. That's fine. Patty said the following: my plan is to sell as much as I can and not worry about anyone else. I don't feel the need to dominate others. And then she said, there's enough to go around for everyone. Okay, well, Patty, in one sense, she's right? Of course, in one sense, she's right. In the other sense, she's not. Many things that we sell on eBay are one-offs, and we're competing against 2, 5, 20 other people, and that's it. One other person. For one buyer right now, the next buyer, that's who we're competing against on eBay. The next buyer. All of us are competing for one buyer. We might be one of 100 people selling the same item, but we're all competing for the next buyer, for one single buyer. That's a lot of competition. Only the dominating will win that on the, over time. We compete for sellers kind of on the open market of competition. That's why eBay is still so good. We compete in who gets the highest search engine rank, because that generally determines who sells the next item, who gets seen next? Who gets seen the most? Which in general, assuming you've done your comps well, you've taken good pictures and item specifics and everything else that you're learning how to do here, assuming everyone's competing for the next seller, we're all competing for the next seller, and generally, the higher the search engine rank, that person's going to get the sale. That person's going to dominate the next sale. Some things, once in a while, especially for the everything sellers, as I am, and we're going to talk to everything sellers in this group, and we're also talking to sellers in single niches, like someone that only wants to sell ladies' belts. That may be a niche that sellers specialize in on eBay, and that's great. It's fine. It's great to niche down. There are pros and cons to being a niche or a niche seller as well as an everything seller. But as an everything seller, not everything sells as quickly as we would like. Sometimes they sit for a few months and we're adjusting the price, adjusting promoted listings. Eventually everything seems to sell on eBay if we did our comps properly, our comparables, did everything on the listing properly, but eventually everything sells. Sometimes it's a long tail item. If you don't know what long tail means, look it up on Google. You'll see. But once in a while, we are a long tail item, and it might be us and one other person who has this item right now for sale. Might be. Even for the long tail one-off items, you want to dominate whoever sells against you. You are in this to win. You're there to get there first. You're there to get the highest search engine rank. You're there to dominate because it's your job to take care of yourself and your family. That is your job, to take care of yourself and your family. If you feel sorry for your competitors, if you don't want to dominate anybody, stop selling. Or as I said before, take one lousy picture, price your item sky high, and don't write a description. Certainly don't write a condition if it's used. Just throw it out there on eBay, and who knows? It might randomly sell someday. But you don't want to, if you feel sorry for your competitors, don't make good listings. Don't continue watching these videos. This will be one of the few videos that is sort of a pep talk and not a how-to, although it's kind of a how-to also in between the lines. Poor Patty. She sees the attribute of being nice as being more important than being sort of stern. We live in a society that simply rewards the wrong things all the time. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. One time I wrote a pretty in-depth article that was published somewhere on the internet. Not a big deal. I don't even think you can find it anymore. But whether it's better to be nice or jealous, which term is best? To be nice or jealous? And which is a better attribute to have? And I suggested most people will say being nice is a far better attribute than being jealous. And my article says, oh no, not even close. Now, that was sort of a Christian-based article thing, and I was using the Bible as my proof text, which I do often do, and it said, and I pointed out that the word nice is never found one time in the Bible, not one time. The word jealous is found a lot. Now, who uses the term nice? Nobody in the Bible. I just said it doesn't appear. Who uses the term jealous? A lot. God does. God says that he is a jealous God. He almost is championing the fact that he's a jealous God. Do you know why he uses that word against himself? Why he never says he's nice? God is a jealous God, and he tells us that. For those of you that don't believe in God, you still will follow this example, I think. I think you'll have the ability to follow this example. If you don't believe in God, you may not have the ability to even follow logic, but I'm going to try, okay? I know I just dissed 60% of the audience. Do you know why a husband should be jealous of his wife? So that he protects her. He should be jealous of her so that he protects her and cares enough about her that he doesn't want anyone else to hurt her in any way. Do you know why a wife should be jealous? This is not a bad word. Envy, it's a bad word. But jealousy, a wife should be jealous because you're protective of something that you have. You should be jealous of your children. You should usually have good reason for that. Envy means you want something someone else has. Jealousy means you are jealous. You want to protect the things that you have. There's a big difference. When you dominate eBay, you do what Patty said she wants to do. Her plan is to sell as much as she can. Okay? She's jealously guarding her family's resources by that trait, by being a jealous seller, by admitting that, even though I don't think she realized what she was saying. Now, does Patty jealously guard her family? Maybe Patty's not married. Maybe Patty's young. Maybe she jealously guards her parents. Maybe she wants the best for them. She doesn't want anyone else to hurt them. Patty said there's enough to go around and she doesn't want to worry about anyone else selling on eBay. Patty, you're in luck. I mean, you certainly don't need to be in these watching these videos, because if you don't care what other people are doing, you can do your own thing. And in your heart, you really don't feel the way that you're saying. You really do worry about everyone else every time you create a listing. You worry about all the potential buyers. You worry about who's competing against you. That's all very critical. You look up comps to see what they've sold for in the past so that you don't just guess. If you don't want to do better than a bad seller with the bad picture, then you don't want to dominate eBay. And that's good luck selling anything. Don't ever put something up on eBay thinking there's enough to go around. Put your items up on eBay, every single one of them, thinking, I want mine to be the only one anybody wants, because you want to grab that next buyer. You want to dominate the next buyer of that item. That's all. That's our only goal. Let's just dominate the next buyer. We don't want to dominate everybody. That would be maybe a little selfish and maybe a little pinky in the brainish if you want to dominate every person on earth. You don't. You just want to dominate everyone selling your item who will get the next buyer. That's all you want. And then it's over and you're done with dominating that person. Let them dominate the next buyer. When I say you're going to dominate eBay on the items that you sell, you're going to dominate against all others selling against you. That means literally your listings are going to be more appealing to your buyers than other. And now for the big finish. If you don't want to dominate eBay, you don't want to please your buyer. If you do not want to dominate eBay, you do not want to please your buyer. Do you know who buyers buy from? They buy from people who please them. Buyers are in it for themselves, those selfish buyers. I wish they were in it for me, but they're not. They're in it for themselves. I mean, good grief. How selfish could that be? If they were in it for me, they'd look at everything that I sold and just buy everything every day. They'd just buy my whole account or all my selling accounts that I have. Buyers are in it for themselves. Buyers are jealous. They aren't nice. They jealously guard their family resources. Good for them. Good for them. They should. And if they don't, they need to start. They need to jealously guard their family's resources. And you do too, which means you need to dominate eBay when you sell anything on any selling platform. But we're talking about eBay here, the platform that works best. That means you want your goal to be better than every other seller on eBay. You can become that. There is one number one seller on eBay who at any one time always is the top in all things being equal, always averages the top spot in search results for what they're selling. There's always one, but then that seller goes away and someone else comes in. It's a great open market. Domination doesn't mean that you go over and you hit them or you kick them out of their house. Now, their seller stupidity, if they don't ever try to become better sellers, these people you're competing against, their stupidity might make them lose their house, or their laziness. That's okay. That's deserved because they don't want to dominate eBay. But we're not talking about that. When you dominate everyone you sell against, that just means you're serving customers better than your competition is. You're serving customers. I want you to be jealous, a dominating seller. I want you to be jealous of your account so that your eBay account makes more sales than anyone trying to compete against you on the same things that you sell. Because that means you're serving the public. You are offering a service. You're pleasing buyers. Our number one goal in life should be to serve others. It should be. Barbra Streisand, the only thing Barbra Streisand ever in her life ever said that was accurate, the only thing, one thing she ever said that was accurate, people who need people are the luckiest people in the world. We are here to serve others, and you're lucky if someone is around to help you, to help you do your best to serve you and to let you serve them. That's a wonderful thing. That's the truth. So, Patty, it is not nice to dominate. I don't care. I don't like the word nice. It is abused in society. I don't like the word nice. I am not nice. My eBay goal is not to be nice. My eBay goal is to dominate eBay. Patty and the others who don't like the word dominate. If you get a lot of money from this business and you sell a lot because you're selling a lot of things and your and your buyers are keeping them without a lot of returns, then you have pleased more people than someone else who tried to sell against you. You did the right thing. I want you to be like me. I mean, I know deep down all of you would like to be like me. I know. But I really want you to be like me when it comes to your goal of dominating eBay on the items that you sell. You will win eBay by doing that. You will not be wasting your time. Your time is the most precious resource on earth that you own, that you literally own. Time is the only thing there's not more of. The only thing. You spend money badly, you can make it back. You spend your time badly, you can't make it back. You've just stolen from yourself and your family and everyone that you could have helped every time that you waste your time. Don't waste your time. When you list something on eBay, be the best lister you can be. How do you do that? You start by watching this channel. And every single thing you list, you take it seriously. You make that eBay listing work as hard as possible.